are these people?
Caitlin Johnstone wants to tell you that Anthony Blinken is a psychopath, which we all kind of knew, but she's going to give us a little more context. Tony Blinken is a cold-blooded sociopath. She says, there's something about the job of U.S. Secretary of State that appears to require a significant level of sociopathy, right? So I would agree with her. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken just referred to the U.S.-sponsored assassination of yet another journalist in Gaza as a, quote, terrible tragedy, as though the reporter was struck by lightning or died in a car crash or something. Speaking at a press conference in Qatar on Sunday, Blinken was asked to comment on the murder of Al Jazeera journalist Hamza Dadou, who was killed in Gaza by an Israeli airstrike on a car he was traveling in with two other journalists, one of whom also died. Hamza Dadou was the eldest son of Al Jazeera Gaza bureau chief Wala Dadou, whose wife, son, daughter, and baby grandson were murdered in another Israeli airstrike in last October, and he was back the next day on camera. That motherfucker is a legend. Like, legit. More people should be like that guy. In response to an Al Jazeera reporter's question about whether the United States condemns the murder of innocent journalists, Blinken replied as follows. Look, Collin, we get to hear Blinken. Yay.
God.
I am deeply, deeply sorry.
110 journalists being targeted by the IDF, including our colleague, son of our colleague, Mahmoud Wa'il al-Tahdoud, Hamza Wa'il al-Tahdoud. Is the United States condemn targeting journalists?
I am deeply, deeply sorry for the almost unimaginable loss suffered by your colleague, Al-Dadou. I'm a parent myself. I can't begin to imagine the horror that he's experienced, not once, but now twice. This is an unimaginable tragedy, and that's also been the case for, as I said, far too many innocent Palestinian men, women, and children.
Okay, and?
Just
okay,
lying
and?
through teeth.
But you know, I will say this: like, he was uncomfortable as hell. So, like, look, and and that's what needs to happen. Like, for all of our politicians, they should feel that uncomfortable if they're not doing what we're counting them to do. So,
but Tony Blinken, do you condemn hummus? Do you? Crocodile tears from Blinken the Butcher. Blinken just called the killing of the son of Al Jazeera's Gaza bureau chief an unimaginable tragedy. No, it's a crime, one that Blinken perpetrated. When asked directly, Blinken didn't condemn Israel's targeted murder of journalists.
I'm deeply sorry for your loss, but I ain't gonna do shit to try and change it.
Yeah. So we hear you, we see you.
Right.
I am deeply sorry for the almost unimaginable loss suffered by your colleague. I am a parent myself, which fuck you. I can't begin to imagine the horror that he's experienced. No, you can, because you've been seeing the videos. Not once, but now twice. This is an unimaginable tragedy, and that's been the case for, as I said, far too many innocent Palestinian men, women, and children. Civilians, also journalists, Palestinian, and other. Yeah, but whose bomb's been doing that? Tony, who be doing that? So, Caitlin continues. Blinken went on to acknowledge the scores of journalists who have been killed in Gaza, saying that this shows the need to get humanitarian aid into the enclave and achieve a lasting peace. What Blinken did not do is issue anything resembling a condemnation of Israel and the clear and demonstrable fact that it has been highly focused on the task of murdering journalists in Gaza. He just offered his deepest condolences for Dadou's death, framed it as a passive tragedy instead of an active assassination using highly sophisticated military technology under the sponsorship and support of the United States, and moved on. It's hard to say who's worse, the far-right Israelis who openly revel in the butchery they are inflicting in Gaza, or the liberal Americans who directly sponsor that butchery and then look you dead in the eye and tell you how deeply, sincerely sorry they are to hear that another person in Gaza has died in a tragic accident. Blinken is always doing sociopath. Yes.
Or what I got a lot of Twitter for the last couple of weeks is I don't give a shit of what's happening. Like, it does not apply to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially among some black people that I saw on Twitter,
which we're gonna get to.
Oh no! Yes, we will.
So Blinken is always doing sociopathic stuff like this. Late last night, he tweeted that this was an extraordinary, dangerous year for press around the world. Many killed, many more wounded, hundreds detained, attacked, threatened, injured, simply for doing their jobs. I am profoundly grateful to the press for getting accurate, timely information to the people.
Which press? Not ours. Not our press.
Can you believe the gall of this freak? As though his own administration wasn't responsible for most of those killings, as though Israel has not spent the last 3 months directly widely disproportionate firepower at the places it knows journalists are hiding. He's standing there on top of a pile of corpses while mournfully shaking his head about their tragic, unfortunate deaths. Here he is, right, with what I read earlier. I am profoundly grateful to the press, yada yada. Max Blumenthal underneath him. Another targeted assassination of a journalist by apartheid Israel. You supplied the murder weapon. This is your legacy. Get him, Max. Get him. Sick him. So he's talking about Jabra Abu Hadras, correspondent of Al Quds Today channel, was killed along with many of his family members as a result of an Israeli airstrike on his home. The number of journalists killed by Israel in 84 days was 106. We're now up to 106. Caitlin replies as well. Why hasn't it been an extraordinarily dangerous year for the press? Why has it been an extraordinarily dangerous year for the press, motherfucker? Like, fucking, I love that meme so much. Good for you, Caitlin. Get him, Caitlin. So, meanwhile, in Israel, in the halls of injustice, we're gonna hear Anthony Blinken's dumb nonsense again, unfortunately.
Oh God.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Words? Why is there no words? Weird. Anyway, Hamas could have ended this on October 8th by not hiding behind civilians, by putting down its weapons, by surrendering, and by releasing the hostages. None of the suffering would have happened if Hamas hadn't done what it did on October 7th and had it made different decisions thereafter. That's what Blinken said in this minute-long clip. It apparently didn't grab sound for me. Next, please. Caitlin replies, Israel could have ended this on October 8th by ceasing to be a tyrannical apartheid state held together by nonstop violence and abuse, working toward peace, righting all its wrongs, and thereby removing the need for Palestinian resistance. None of this suffering would have happened if Israel had treated Palestinians like equal human beings. She's not wrong, Care Bear.
No.
He continues, there's something about the job of U.S. Secretary of State that appears to require a significant level of sociopathy. From war criminal Henry Kissinger to Madeleine Albright, we think the price was worth it, Albright, to Mike, we lied, we cheated, we stole, Pompeo, the absolute worst person.
Obama, we tortured some folks.
Yes, I mean, specifically Secretary of State. So.
Or Clinton, I think it was Clinton. It was worth it. Oh no, it wasn't.
That was Madeleine Albright. Yeah, for the Clintons. Pompeo, The absolute worst person in any given presidential administration is very often the head of the State Department. A severe personality disorder is practically in the job description. This is because while the Secretary of State is officially the head of U.S. diplomacy for the U.S. empire looks a whole lot different from what it looks like for normal countries. U.S. diplomacy, in practice, typically looks like going from country to country, negotiating for international alignment behind wars, starvation sanctions, proxy conflicts, and Western-backed uprisings. In theory, the State Department should be the Department of Peace, but in practice, it's just a subtler, sneakier military department. Nothing epitomizes the depraved manipulations of the U.S. empire better than Anthony Blinken. There is no better representation of that empire than Tony, standing there on his mountain of corpses, covered in blood, telling you how sorry he is to learn of the unfortunate accidental deaths of the people he just murdered, staring at you with his cold, dead eyes, playing remarkably soulless blues guitar under the light of a bright red moon. Thoughts, Care Bear? No.
I mean, we all know Blinken's a piece of shit, but
Yes, he is.
it just, the cognitive it's not just him, but like Biden too.
Phrasing of all sorts of shit.
Most of these people in government, it's just like,
yes,
I feel sorry for you, but I'm still going to promote the evil of which
not just promote it, perpetrate it. Like,
yeah.
I don't think the Palestinians care that the Israelis are throwing different people's bombs. Like, they know where the bombs are coming from. Like, you know, they get it. It's got made in USA on the side of it. Made at Elbit Systems. You know? So, we're going to get to that in our next story. But,
yeah, speaking of...
Yep.
We see
first
you
off,
and hear you.
leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Is Blinken shit? Is he dog shit? Is he a more larger animal shit? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. Make sure to share to fight the suppression. Trying to get to 2K. You know, help us out. We're getting there.